The fog spread like a living organism, crawling low across the fields and swallowing everything in its path. It blurred the shapes of broken fences, half-buried tractors, and forgotten paths, turning the world into a gray ocean of silence. Somewhere beneath that heavy shroud of mist, Oleg walked alone. His steps were slow, deliberate, careful not to break the spell of the silence around him. The ground beneath his boots was damp, sucking softly as if unwilling to let him go. His Geiger counter clicked from time to time, though the sound felt almost comforting compared to the emptiness of the land. He had been walking for hours, chasing a rumor that had haunted every campfire for months. They called it the Lantern Field. Men spoke of strange lights that appeared each year at the end of October, drifting above the earth like wandering souls. Some claimed it was radiation. Others said it was a trap, a place where the air itself swallowed the living. No one ever came back with proof. Oleg did not come for proof. He came because he had nothing else left to lose.
The fog thickened as the night deepened. The sky was hidden, but a pale glow filtered through it, enough to keep him moving forward. His flashlight carved a narrow path through the mist, cutting across the remnants of an old road. Each rusted signpost and cracked pole looked like the skeleton of something once proud. The air smelled of old metal and rain. Somewhere in the distance, water dripped rhythmically, too steady to be natural. He reached the edge of what must have once been a small settlement. The houses were collapsed, their roofs caved in, their doors missing. The air inside them was colder, heavier, filled with a presence that pressed against his skin. He did not stop. His eyes searched the horizon for movement. And then, at the far edge of the field, something glowed. It was faint at first, like the flicker of a dying flame. Then another appeared beside it, and another, until a dozen lights hovered in the mist. They were soft, greenish-white, almost gentle, and they pulsed in unison, as though beating to a single slow heart. Oleg's pulse quickened. The lantern field was real. He walked toward the lights, drawn not by curiosity, but by the pull of something older, deeper. The earth grew softer, wetter. His boots sank with each step, but he did not stop. The air began to hum, low and steady, a vibration that he could feel in his teeth and bones. The lights moved farther away as he approached, maintaining a distance just out of reach, guiding him onward like patient shepherds.
The fog thickened until it felt alive. Shapes drifted inside it, long shadows, faint outlines that flickered at the edge of perception. He could not tell if they were trees, figures, or tricks of his mind. The sound of his breathing became sharp, unnatural, and the clicking of his counter merged with the hum of the lights. It was no longer clear where one sound ended and another began. He felt his thoughts slow, as though the mist had begun to seep inside his skull. The field opened suddenly, wide and flat, surrounded by dying reeds. In its center stood a dry pond, cracked and hollow like a wound in the earth. The lights hung above it, swirling together, merging into one immense sphere that pulsed with a deep, rhythmic glow. The air vibrated with invisible energy. Every instinct screamed to run, yet his body refused. Something unseen held him still, pressing him toward the pond as if gravity itself had shifted.
The ground beneath him trembled. The cracks in the pond glowed faintly, veins of light spreading outward like roots searching for life. The hum deepened into a tone that seemed to resonate from within the earth. The air felt electric. His heart matched the pulse of the light without his control. The sensation was not fear anymore, but surrender, the strange peace of something inevitable. The mist around him began to thin, revealing the silhouettes of other figures standing at the edge of the pond. They were motionless, half-transparent, faces blurred, their outlines flickering like old film. There were dozens of them, perhaps more, each gazing silently toward the glowing sphere. Their presence was neither human nor entirely ghostly, something between memory and matter. Oleg felt his mind bend under the weight of realization. The lantern field was not a legend. It was a harvest. The ground split open with a deep, cracking sound. Light poured upward from the earth, washing over everything in waves. The sphere expanded, then collapsed inward, pulling the fog, the figures, and the very air into its core. The silence broke into a roar that had no sound, only vibration. The world folded in on itself, and for a moment, Oleg saw everything. The faces of those who had come before. Their eyes glowed with the same green light, their mouths open in endless, breathless awe. Then came darkness. When the light faded, the field was quiet again. The pond was gone, replaced by a shallow depression filled with mist. The dawn sky began to pale above the horizon, turning the fog from gray to silver. The wind returned, weak but real, whispering through the reeds. There was no sign of Oleg, no trace of his passing, except for a single cracked mask lying near the center of the field. Its glass lens reflected a dim, shifting glow that lingered even after the sun rose. Days later, another scavenger found the place. He saw the faint traces of footprints and the rusted fragments of a backpack. He stayed only long enough to feel the strange hum beneath the ground before leaving in silence. That night, from miles away, he looked back across the plains and saw the lights again. They hovered low above the earth, soft and steady, like lanterns guiding travelers through the fog. As the years passed, more stories were told. Some said the lights appeared only on the last night of October, marking the boundary between the living and the lost. Others believed they were souls that never stopped wandering, drawn to the place where time no longer mattered. None could say for certain what waited within that fog, only that those who entered the field were never seen again. At the edge of the world, where the soil remembers every step and the wind carries whispers from beneath the ground, the lantern field waits. The fog always returns, thick and patient, and when it does, the lights begin to rise once more, pulsing softly in the distance like a heartbeat that refuses to die. They drift above the hollow earth, silent and eternal, calling to anyone who dares to walk alone.